Of all the phasers, this one might be the phasiest. And listen to this one in stereo if you can. If it sounded like there was a whole lot going on in there, that's because there was. And I'm going to try to focus on the really interesting stuff, so we won't get to absolutely every single detail of this pedal, but we still have a lot to get around to. However, before we do anything at all, this is a 24-volt pedal. So you know what that means. That's right, the last thing we want is to find out what the smash box looks like with black smoke coming out of it. So safety first. And 24 volts for a phaser pedal isn't all that crazy. This diamond phase also takes 24 volts. And when we pop the back off of this, we can see all the stuff that's getting powered in here. We've got all of these op amps. We've got these 4 optocouplers up here, which I'm assuming are driving 4 phaser stages hanging off of either side of these specific op amps up here. And that's just a guess. No matter the specifics, I'm just glad to see all of that because, to be honest, I kind of expected this to be like a digital brain driving an analog signal path kind of thing. And this just makes it a whole lot more interesting for some reason. On to how it actually sounds though, let's start out with that classic LFO-based back and forth phaser sound from the demo, which I dirtied up a little bit with this Greer Soma. Standard phaser sound, but still very much vintage electro-harmonics flavor in there. And this brings me to probably my favorite feature of this pedal, the start and stop knobs. Using these, we can target the effect's sweep, or even bring it down to like a really narrow slice for a super subtle modulation effect. If this pedal was just rate, start, stop, I'd probably still be really into it. But obviously we've got a whole lot of other stuff to go through, like the fact that we've got a triangle wave and a square wave to choose from. And before I forget, yes, this definitely works really well on bass. Here it is in the opening jam. This pedal's got 2 other modes, envelope and expression. Envelope mode is going to move the sweep between the start and the stop points based on the strength of the input signal, and we can adjust just how sensitive it is to that input with the gain knob right here. And ideally we want it to just briefly light up this LED as we sweep, so it'll come all the way up and then fall back down as the note decays. cool feature. It's got shades of tube zipper going on, but where I think it really shines is going back on the bass. Growly. I should also point out that these start and stop knobs, there's nothing stopping us from putting the start above the stop and flipping that envelope upside down. We've got an option of a fast or slow envelope effect. What I wish we had was better control over the shape of the transition. The attack decay pedal lets us select between linear, parabolic, and S-curve. Of course, that is a digital pedal, so it's a bit easier to just program that, but especially with guitar, I was having a lot of trouble fine-tuning all of this so that the sweep would travel the way that I wanted it to, and a tweakable shape definitely would have helped there. What I found a bit more useful on guitar was the expression mode, and I'm not normally an expression pedal into another pedal kind of guy. I like to just kind of set it and forget it, but for this, I'll make an expression exception. Now, if you're one of those people always getting on me in the comments down there about how you want these demos in stereo, or if you paid attention at the top of the video, you've been hearing the stereo effect of this pedal for the past couple minutes. It's not subtle. I'll give you one more chance to put your headphones on. All right, now listen to this. Just in case you can't hear the stereo effect, as the phase sweeps from start to stop and back again, the wet effect of the phasing goes from left to right and back to left. It's kind of like a ping pong phaser. And this gets really wild and interesting in expression mode, as well as in the square wave setting. Last gig I played, there was barely enough room up there for even a single combo amp, so I probably won't be looking to add a second PV Classic 30 to my rig just to let this bad boy do its thing. But my buddy Billy Rogan plays guitar in a band called LOOM. They're a cinema jam rock space funk band based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah, he's already rocking a stereo rig, and something tells me this might be a good fit for his gigs. This pedal follows in some sort of lineage of the 70s Polyphase pedal. It's got the envelope mode as well as the standard LFO mode, but obviously this newer stereo pedal adds a whole lot of other new features. That said, if the opportunity ever presented itself to trade this for that big box vintage pedal, I'm probably taking that deal. I'll even throw in the box. We've seen shades of this pedal before. The Ibanez PM-7 Phase Modulator we looked at a few weeks ago has the square wave mode. The Hardwire SP7 Stereo Phaser has an envelope mode. And the Keeley Bubbletron, I don't know where that ran off to, it's somewhere around here, but that does a very good vintage dynamic phaser thing, probably in the style of that original Polyphase pedal. But I feel like this really takes the super phaser thing in a whole different direction, and I kind of love it for that. Before we part ways, a quick favor. If you're buying new gear, strings, pedals, synthesizers, a hot pink acoustic guitar, I've got a Zounds.com link down in my video description. If you use that when you're shopping for gear, it helps me out a whole lot. Of course, please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next video. I've got a couple of ideas bouncing around. I'll make sure to land on something really good, and I'll catch you on the next one.